Now, brumation can be a very scary time for new Tegu keepers. You know, you have this Tegu for a couple of weeks to a couple of months, and then all of a sudden, it's not eating anymore, and it never comes out. You know, what's going on? I'm a little bit worried. Personally, for myself, I was a little bit scared when I first went through Hobbs with brumation. It can be a very unsettling process. You're going from taking care of this animal for any amount of time that you've had it, and then all of a sudden, you're going anywhere from 2 to 6 months without even feeding it. So today I wanted to make a video talking all about brumation, what it is, if you can avoid it, or maybe if it's just something that occurs naturally, and what steps should you take before and during brumation. So with all that out of the way, let's sit back, relax, and dive into, for some reason, your Tegu just falling asleep for half a year. Roll the intro. So I think where we should start first is, of course, what is brumation, and well, why do Tegus brumate? So to put it in a nutshell, brumation is basically just the reptile form of hibernation. Now, while I do believe hibernation is a little bit different from brumation, these guys aren't fully hibernating. However, they are slowing their metabolism and their activity basically to a halt, most of the time just staying buried for pretty much the extended period of time that they do brumate, and basically, it's just they sleep for a very, very long time. Now, the main reason for Tegus brumating is simply for the fact of during this time of the month, during the late fall to early winter, food sources for Tegus is going to become pretty scarce. With small animals not really breeding and most of them, going down for the winter themselves, there really isn't much food for the Tegu to get at. So, over time, I guess you would say it's like an evolution process. The Tegu has been like, oh, alright, well, there's no food here, and there's not gonna be food for like 4 months, so I think I'm just gonna nap in that spare time. The next question you're probably asking yourself is, well, Dakota, I mean, I understand that in the wild, but these are captive bred Tegus, man. I mean, I feed my Tegu like every day. Hopefully you're not doing that if it's an adult Tegu. I mean, if it's a baby, go for it. But getting back to the question, Dakota, if it's captive bred, why is it sleeping? I don't know. Enlighten us, Mr. Burke. I got you, my guy. I can answer that question with one simple answer that probably won't make much sense. Instincts. Yes, while it is true in captivity, there is no limit of sources of food. The heating pretty much stays the same. You're not really fluctuating depending on where you live. If you're anywhere like me in the New England area, there still is a pretty steady fluctuation in temps. But if we're like the bedroom or the rooms that usually keep reptiles in a house, there isn't much difference of a temperature change. So what is making Tegus brumate in captivity? Now, like I mentioned earlier, for Tegus and brumation, it's pretty much instinctual. However, with the fluctuating temps, why are they doing it? I believe the main reason is just the shift in the barometric pressure, just going from, fall to winter to instead of summer and spring, pressure is going to be different. A bunch of other scientific stuff that I don't know too much about, so I won't try to make an ass of myself and try to explain it, but pretty much they know when it's wintertime and they're gonna go sleep. But alright, now that you know what brumation is, why Tegus brumate, the next question you're asking yourself is probably, well, Dakota, can I just make them, not brumate? I mean, what if I just keep waking them up? Every single day I am going to wake my Tegu up because I can't go 4 to 6 months without him. Please, Dakota, is that okay? Can I do that? Well, the simple answer to that is pretty much no. As far as if you should try to, stop Tegus from brumating, there isn't too much negative effects I've been able to, research or see. Pretty much, I know there is one main concern, that is if you're trying to breed Tegus, or if this Tegu will be in a future breeding project. For some reason, with males, if you don't allow them to go through that first brumation, it's something with the reproductive system, they basically won't breed. I don't know if the semen's just not viable at that point, or maybe something's going on with the development of the penis. God damn, I'm 25 years old and I laugh at saying penis. That's something. It's something that have to do with the reproductive organs, and for just some reason, they don't breed if they're not let that first brumation. So if you're trying to breed a male tegu, but you don't want to not see him for 4 months out of the year, then you should probably just let him sleep if you want tegu babies. As far as any other reason, honestly, I stick with the side of just let him brumate. It's a natural instinctive thing for them to do. There's really no rhyme or reason to try to negate them from brumating if it's just what they need to do naturally. And there are some bright sides to brumation. I mean, you're gonna save like a pretty good chunk of change, especially those adult tegus. You know what I'm saying, my guy. Whole prey, chicken, veggies, you don't gotta do that for like 4 to 6 months. So you're all set there. At least, you may not get to see your tegu, but at least you get to save a couple bucks. That's that's my silver lining there, boys. That's the only positive I can think of about tegu brumation. All right, next up. So, how long does brumation last, and what are some reasons that you actually would want to wake your tegu out of brumation? So, going into number 1, brumation for tegus seems to it has a large variety of different times. I see a lot of things of tegus brumating pretty much anywhere from 6 weeks to about 6 to 7 months. My first year of my tegu brumating, he went down from, I believe, November until late April. So it was a pretty lengthy brumation. It really depends, and honestly with brumation, when it comes to tegus, some tegus just won't brumate. It really has anything to do, where you are in the area, especially with New England, you have these really harsh, not really harsh, but it's congruent seasonal changes. It's not gonna be something where you live in the South, it's gonna go from like, 70 degrees in the fall to like 60 or 50. However, if you're up here in New England, it can go anywhere in the fall being in the 50s to 60s to winter being 7, maybe -2. There's a pretty big drop in the seasonal changes. So with that, it's usually a lot easier for tegu to pick up on that, go down in brumation. However, it does vary. So maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones and your tegu won't go down. Or potentially you'll be like me where your tegu just goes down for half of the fucking year. Half the year I don't get to see that tegu, I swear to God. I waited 4 years for this tegu and he leaves me every year for half of the year. Unbelievable. Now going into the second part of this, which is going to be, should there be any reason for you to negate tegus from going into brumation? This really goes to thing, I think first we'll talk about some preventatives you should take when tegus going into brumation. So usually you'll notice when they're about to go down, it's not like they're up one day and then all of a sudden they're in the ground, they're burrowed and they're not coming up. You'll notice a gradual slowdown with your tegu. He'll be coming out less and less, waking up and then going to bed at earlier times. So usually, if your tegu's up to like, I don't know, whatever hour, at 10 o'clock your tegu is up, and then a few weeks later he's up at 7, a few weeks later, he's not there at like 4 or 5, you can pretty much guess, oh, well, this tegu is about to go in brumation. Some of the preventatives you can do at that time is making sure you stop feeding your tegu. It is very critical that when a tegu is going into brumation, they do so on an empty gut. You do not want anything in there because, of course, tegus being cold-blooded, they are regulating their temperatures, digesting through heat. The tegus are not going to be using that heat, they're going to be burrowed in the ground where it's relatively going to be pretty cold, and at that point, that food is going to just rot in their gut. The tegu is going to go septic. Not good. I'll leave it at that. Tegus, you don't want them to be full and go to sleep. I believe that should be the only reason why you prevent your tegu from going to brumation. If you happen to slip up and you fed him a couple of meals and all of a sudden you see him going down, you want to make sure you get that tegu up in that basking area to make sure you get a good bowel movement, and at that point you should let him brumate. For any other reason, I don't really see any to why you want to negate it. Usually when I notice my tegu starts going down, I'll leave the lights on for about another week to 2 weeks. At that point, if he's just burrowed the whole time, I'll start turning off the basking light and then the UVB light and just leaving it that nice dark area that he wants to brumate. And of course, I'll just leave it at that for anywhere of the, to 6 weeks to 6 months that he's gonna brumate. Pretty much after this time, we'll go into a little bit of, what to do after your tegu, or maybe your tegu is going up from brumation. So just going to like, the fake fall when it's like, oh, all of a sudden it's not 90 degrees, it's like 70, but then next week it shoots back up. I feel like tegus have this part where it's like fake coming out of brumation, where they'll go up for a little bit, but then they'll go back down for a couple of days. So you definitely want to make sure, if you believe your tegu is going up for brumation, give it at least a day or two. Make sure that they're actually coming up and they're staying up, and at that point I would feed them. I usually make mine just go a couple of days without food, even though when he wakes up, just to make sure this isn't something where he's just going to get up real quick and then go immediately back down, because again, You don't want a Tegu with a full belly, because it's gonna be a bad belly if he goes to sleep with it. Right, dropping down to the last thing you need to know before your Tegu goes into brumation, that's gonna be, don't worry. It's a full naturalistic thing. Everyone goes through it, but well, not everyone, because like I said, some Tegus just don't brumate for some weird reason. It happens to a lot of Tegu owners, you know? It's nothing to worry about. This is a natural process. I know it can be very intimidating just being like, oh, okay, I guess I just won't feed you, Tegu. I just will not feed you for 4 to 5 months, and it's just what's gonna happen. It sounds a little strange, and I know if you're coming from something like ball pythons, blue-tongued skinks, anything like that, just species that don't go through brumation, it can be a very foreign idea of being like, oh, I guess let's just not feed him for months at a time. At the end of the day, it's just kind of an unfortunate thing that you gotta deal with owning Tegus. Just something you gotta roll the dice with, you know. Unfortunately, you gotta wait that 4 to 6 months, but then it just means that, you know, when your Tegu wakes up, you'll appreciate the animal that much more, because you know, when he wakes up, it's only a matter of a time before he goes back down. Alright, boys and girls, that is going to wrap it up for today. There you have it, everything you need to know about brumation for Tegus. Let me know what you think about the video. Leave a comment right down there in that comment section. Did it do well? Did I teach you everything? Or did you have any extra questions that maybe I didn't get to? Drop them down there. Was this an awesome video? Was it crappy? I won't know until you put it in the comments. As always, if you liked the video, please feel free to give us a thumbs up. If you want to see some more of my animals or my breeding products, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, DBCB Exotics. We're also on TikTok. If you like some cool t-shirt designs like these 3 right here, you can check that also down there in the description at Teespring, where we have Patreon. Patreon.com/DBCBExotics. You get cool premium content like seeing pictures and the animals I get before anyone else gets to see them, up-to-date updates on all my breeding projects. You know, here at DBCB Exotics we have a magnitude of different projects. Lots of baby geckos, lots of eggs, baby lizards, baby snakes. We got a bunch of stuff going on. You won't want to miss it, and you get the first look at it at Patreon. Other than that, I do some other bonus content. You know, I do some, you know, video cameraing when I'm just messing around with my monitor lizards, things like that. Extra stuff, you know, first dibs, discounts on merch, discount. It's a whole thing. There's a bunch of tiers. Head down there if you want to learn more. Other than that, I think it's gonna do it. I can't think of anything else to say, so yeah, let's just roll the outro. Let's roll it.